these problems also exist in the West because, well, rather they're even further intensified perhaps because there's a lot of other pressures of atheism, of certain social vices that are more present and more accepted in Western secular nations as opposed to Eastern nations. However, the positive part of being in the West, in comparison to other countries like the Gulf countries, is access to Islamic knowledge. No one stops you from having a masjid. No one stops you, at least in Canada or America or Britain, no one stops you from having a hosa. Just don't hate anyone. Don't preach hate. Mm-hmm. Don't speak against people and say, oh, this person's this, advocate violence or hatred towards other people. But you have the freedom to teach your children and your community your religion, whether you want to teach it at a lower level, middle level, or very high level. You're free to build your own university or your own college or your own institutes of learning. Mm-hmm. I don't see anywhere in Britain or America or the United States or Canada a law banning Muslims from teaching their children Islam. Mm-hmm. The problem sometimes lies with us, right? We sometimes say, oh, it's Dawlatul Kufr and this and the Kafir government and Kafir this, Kafir that. Okay, yes, there are pressures of disbelief and things, but are they preventing us from learning our religion?
Not really.
Not at all. The freedom of religion is enshrined in most of these constitutions. Yeah. So, for example, in Toronto, we have a wonderful school, the Sadiq Islamic School, where I was for many years, just under 10 years. And it's one of our proudest accomplishments as a community. Thanks goes to our pioneers who started that institution where the children learn fiqh. It's a full-time day school, runs from Monday to Friday. The children learn fiqh. Among tariq, among history, among other things, in addition, of course, to all the regular subjects that are offered, math and biology and things. Yeah. But no one can have an excuse that we were not taught wudu. We were not taught the kayfiyat of salah, how to pray. We were not taught about khums. We were not taught about salatul mayyit. We're not taught about salatul jum'ah. We're not taught about wudu al-jabira, the wudu when you have a bandage. We teach all of these things. As the fiqh of Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq alayhi salam. The fiqh of the Prophet is taught by Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq salamullahi alayhi. And no one prevents us from doing this in the West, but it requires a vision. It requires assistance. It requires mu'mineen to come together to believe that the preservation of our religious practice and identity is something that is worth contributing to and supporting. Mm-hmm. That is important.
Yes.
And I want to take this a step further, and this may be uncomfortable for some, but I think it's important, which is the success of our communities will be determined by the amount that we contribute, not necessarily financially, just in general, to hifdud-din. But do we really care about hifdud-din, or do we care about hifdul mal? The preservation of religion or the preservation of our bank accounts? And why can't both coexist, right? Sometimes we as human beings have such, na'udhu billah, maybe a negative opinion of Allah, sultan billah, that we somehow think that if we go too much into hifdud-din, we're not going to be able to to have all these big positions and, I don't know, maybe have our financial success that we want. Sometimes it's...
So to say, like, there's never a chance to combine two, but...
Yeah, but Islam is a way of life. Of course we can combine the both. Allah doesn't want us... The Prophet himself, Amir al-Mu'mineen, the Aimma, so my point is that hifdud-din has to be at the forefront of our mind. If it's not, then we have to ask ourselves why and what's wrong with our hearts. Hifdud-din meaning the preservation of our religion and the safeguarding of it.